So as we sit here together, always such a wonderful opportunity to get a sense of ourselves together in this group, seemingly far apart physically, far apart physically, but so present with each other on a heart and soul level. What a blessing we have to be in this time where our need to isolate isn't really isolating us. Who made that plan? So we ask that the energies of the guardian circle protocol surround each of us, our homes, each in our family, our land, and all to whom we're connected in love. That this vortex be active, proactive, lifting us, guiding us, keeping us safe as we create fearlessly. That our light brightens, stabilizes, clears, and lights the way for those who are looking for our particular coloration of being. We know that we are living a future that others are only hoping for. And we reach our vibrations back and out and around to say, yes, it is possible, and here it is for you. We invite the teams that work with us in the Crystal Broadcasting Program to be here. The guides of our higher selves and plan within that greater plan of sovereignty and creating from the divine all that is good, be here. We know we are held in presence of the energy of the sun, the energy of Mother Earth, all that Earth it provides to anchor us, support us, resource us. So much more. We give thanks for being together. We thank those who are here with us in whatever fashion they are to fulfill that greater plan. And I declare the circle prepared and opened, and so it is. Okay, so first we'll place ourselves in the circle. Again, name, place, quality, and if something else pops in, don't limit yourself to that. But Sharon Raji Maynard, I'm on Whidbey Island today still, and the sun is out. And I am going to anchor clarity. And Angelique?
Hello, everyone. Angelique again from the Netherlands and the West Coast, The Hague, Den Haag. And I bring into the circle gratitude to Arlie.
I am Arlie. I live just outside Wellington, New Zealand. It's a rainy day, and I bring freshness, that smell of freshness after the rain has fallen, the freshness of the air, the freshness of the morning that it is here. I just bring freshness. And I would like to call on Sue.
Hello, and thank you, Arlie. I'm Sue. I'm just out of Seattle in Issaquah. Just came back from a hike, jumped in the shower, threw my hair in a ponytail, and here I am, all fresh. I'm bringing in embracing the unknown. Cinda.
I'm Cinda. I'm just south of Portland, and I just came in from a very, very wet walk. I was drenched. I'm babysitting my other son's dog. And now, actually, I've been home long enough to actually eat something. And now I look outside and the freaking sun is shining. So anyway, I bring in reverence and awe. Back to you, Sharon.
Okay. So what's been emerging, or what's emerging, even if it's just this morning? Sometimes it's the morning time that's like sets the whole day for me. So whatever's emerging in whatever that is, so what's heavy on your heart, light on your heart, new ideas, or whatever. Let's just go around and share where we're at. Cindy, do you want to start?
Oh, I'm just not muted. I just am, I feel like I am on this master's program for my spiritual growth and awakening. It was beautiful. Sharon and I were the only people for the Guardian Circle on Saturday, and she and I did a great big deep dive, and it was so amazing. I just feel with the classes I'm taking from Sharon, which I've been doing since 2012, 11. Oh my God. You know, and then all the Carolyn Mace deep dives that I'm doing, I just feel like I am in this master's program. It's very interesting. I'm not quite sure what it is I'm searching for, if I'm even searching. It just feels like I'm more absorbing. But yeah, so I'm the reverence and awe of the whole process is really what I'm swimming in, and so grateful for. And the teachers like you, Sharon, and all of you in the room today. I'm just so grateful to have you in my life and part of it. So yeah, thank you, thank you. How about you, Arlie?
Oh, heaviness, heaviness. My dog is at the vet's. She's having surgery today. She had this lump on her tail, which had been there for 2 years, and then suddenly she starts biting at it. Well, it turns out it's a benign lump, but instead of growing out, it's growing in and causing her discomfort. So it needs to be removed. And there's issues about how big the lump is internally and if there'll be enough skin to cover up the surgical site, or, you know, and then Richard says, maybe they're going to cut off her tail. And I'm like, don't cut off my dog's tail. She has this beautiful flag of a tail. So I'm concerned about my dog. And just thinking about her all the time now today. And I would like to call on Sue again.
Thank you, Arlie. Best wishes for your dog.
Thank you.
So, did you tape Saturdays? Did you record Saturdays? Is it available? Okay. I haven't had time to look at it. I went to my son's for Saturday and Sunday, and that is a madhouse with 3 kids, but I enjoy it. So, it's been another amazing week. And this last week, I got a lot of information about, oh my God, what's the word I want? What's the word I want? Archetypes. And then I was listening to Carolyn Miss, and she was talking about, it's an audio book, which is serving me just fine. I turn off all the lights and have this little salt lamp on and listen. And it's triggering information. And I love that. And last Wednesday's was just very powerful with 3 of us. And we missed you, Sharon, but I'm glad you had such a good time with your grandson. That was wonderful that you could do that. So what's happening for me is that it's clearing up confusion and it's releasing a huge heaviness I've had with my history and what hasn't been revealed. And I'm also working on forgiveness. That forgiveness, what I found is that forgiveness removes the hooks, the emotional hooks, and emotional hooks triggers. So many times anything about sex trafficking comes up, I just go straight to rage. Anything about power over, anything about violence against women, children, people of color, whoever's vulnerable, I just instantly go to rage. So I want to remove that hook. I need to remove the hook. I'm not effective when I'm hooked. I'm not effective when my buttons get pushed. And with the news the way it is, it's just, if I listen to any of it, I'm automatically reacting to it. And that is not the stability I want. So that's what I'm working on. And to be more effective, I need to be emotionally stable. I need to be neutral. If I'm going to be empowered through spirit, I have to set aside the personality, ego, human self, because they don't occupy the same space. They occupy the space in me, but they're not the same consciousness. So tons of information is being triggered and it's exciting. And what I discovered is that it's also exhausting, because in order for something to come up, it feels like from my toes to the top of my head are like all the different levels of a high rise, and it has to come all the way through. And for some reason, it's a struggle for the new awareness to come through, or the memory or wisdom. It feels like it comes from my toes and has to come all the way up. And by the time it comes up and it's an awareness, it's like, oh my God, that was a lot of work. I don't know if it was or not, but that's how it feels. So it's a journey. I need to embrace the unknown, because every day is an unknown. I feel like a little kid. And to you, Angelique.
Oops. Okay. Sorry for that. And thank you, Sue. And thank you, everyone, for your sharing. Yeah, I am in a period in my life which is really a cleansing period, and it's about family cleansing and about lots of old, really old patterns and things which are very hurtful on a deep level. And I'm sometimes so overwhelmed that just don't know where to begin and where to end. And then there comes a moment that I find myself again, and I remember that my body remembers. I have to say that most of the time when I'm so overwhelmed, I get over triggered in my body, and I have so much pain that I can't do anything. And that was yesterday. And yesterday also I had a most amazing, beautiful circle with the grandmothers from overseas. I'm having circles with full moon grandmother circles with 9 women. And it was fantastic. And I felt so very grateful and blessed having these beautiful women all together and sharings, and you know, it's all about truth, and that's what my path is. It's all about truth, and therefore I hit the bottom sometimes very, very hard, and because truth is what I'm really, really going for in this lifetime, and that's not always fun. It's not always easy, and it's also sometimes very painful, and nonetheless I go for that. And I have been very sad today, and now I feel good. I've been crying little a little song, let's say so. And now I feel so much more cleansed and ready to work again, to go deeper, to dive deeper into myself, and to ask for the answers and to meet them, and to offer my what you call it in English, to be prepared to set a next step, to really set a next step, and to go for that, because I know I'm right in front of a huge gate and it's not open. And I can see what's behind, but I don't know. You know, I can sense it, and I want to go there, and I have to go there, but it's not really totally clear. So yeah, also I am diving into the unknown, so really, and it's feeling good, and it's exciting, and it's, yeah, it's just getting away from everything which doesn't belong there anymore. I don't know if I say this in the right sentence in English, but it's like cleansing, really cleansing my room, cleansing my inner room, my inner field, and everything. And that feels good. So I'm complete. Thank you. I'll go back to Sharon. Thank you.
Yeah, the thing that comes to mind is how some souls coming into a body bring in few patterns to be transformed for that lifetime. It's like they're taking a break. So they're like a 500-piece puzzle. Their puzzles are really big, really clear, and they use 5 tools, and they put those 5 tools and it brings their puzzles together, and their life is magic. And then there's others who for our own reason said, well, I'm going to bring in more. I'll take on more. You're going to have less. That's fine. I'll take on more. So we bring in a lot of those negative patterns in order to transform the patterns for ourselves, our family, female psyche, humanity, male psyche. And we're like 1,500-piece puzzles, and they're teeny, and they all look the same color. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't even buy those. If I'm going to buy a puzzle, it's going to be a 500-piece puzzle, big pieces, you know? And so, you know, some of us need tools, and then tools, and then tools, and then reuse the tools. And in the past, some of my clients go, what's wrong with me? You know, look, they want the same thing, and they got it like click, click. And I've been click, 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 click. And we just, sometimes some of us need a lot more tools, which also means we might need a lot more supportive community to hold us during those times of the crisis, because we'll have periods where we're stretching again, and then there's more in the way, you know. And all of you have not, none of you are 500-piece puzzles, I don't think, you know. And that's what the world needs. It needs 500-piece puzzle persons, yes, and but the world out there, a lot of them are going to need those of us who have gone through a much deeper intensity, because we have more tools now that we can share. And I keep being told, forests, you're working with women who are going to be growing the new forests. So I think that's you guys too. And what that's the unknown. But it's already there saying the forests have growing. The forests have grown, therefore we'll get it done. We'll get it done. So glad to be with you today. So anyone, how would we like to do our travel today? Should we do it as we have in the past few, probably months really, where our team wants us to be, to see, to ask questions, to do action, to learn from, and let ourselves trust that process. Anything, any ideas that's coming up for any of you on that?
I kind of feel that since we're here together in a group, and since groups and group energy are so powerful, that a direction, I mean, we can do our individual thing anytime when we're at home alone, but to do the group energy and in a set circle seems special.
Mhm, mhm.
We should make use of the resource.
So I like the idea of the group, and I was thinking, since we're the crystal broadcasting today, I want to call in all the elements.
Mhm.
That's the water, the air, the earth, the minerals. I want to call them in for their wisdom and see where it takes us. That's what I would like to do.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. And I would then like to call in all our relatives. But then I mean the four-leggeds and the creepy
Oh.
crawl. Not my family this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, later on this week, they have their turn again. No, I mean really, really the animal kingdom. Yeah.
Any
I'm swimming in the analogy of the puzzle, because what cracks me up about that, Sharon, is we sort of have a house rule that when you do a puzzle, you can't look at the picture. So you have to do it sight unseen. You have to do it without having a guide, without having a picture of what the final outcome is going to be like. So when you take that and put that, our family household rule, I mean, it's what I've been passed on from my own mother, who's a puzzle freak. She's like, no, you can't look at the box. You have to do it without the box.
Can I
And it's just like, okay, but isn't that really how we do life? Even if we're at a 500-piece puzzle or a 1,500-piece puzzle, we don't know what the final outcome is going to look like. And in fact, if we don't know, if we don't have the set of expectations, then it's, it makes it easier and less so controlled or egocentric. But I find that humorous because, oh my God, I've been upset. I've been set up by my whole family dynamics to do this puzzle, without any idea of what the outcome is supposed to look like. And you don't know until it's done and you put that last piece in. It's like, oh. So I love the idea of doing it all together. So
That's a good idea. It is a good idea. And so when we're doing it all together, we're traveling together and we're calling in the elements to be with us, they will be with each of us uniquely anyway, and we will we will see our piece of it uniquely anyway. So the question I would have then is, shall we do a guided imagery into, Arlie, I hear you got a problem. Did you need to say anything right now?
I can't find what it is, but if water starts running across the floor, I'll disappear again.
Oh, we called in the elements and you got water.
I do. It's raining outside. I have this water sound coming from the area of my kitchen. I don't know.
Okay. That's good. So what about saying what future are we each being drawn to, because we're drawn to a future that's collective as well as individual, and they're going there. How did we get there? We can look back. How did we get there? What are we doing there? How did we get there? And anchoring, affirm. Should we do it that way, and then open up the space for whatever more information you're going to get? Because the unknown isn't unknown everywhere. I mean, there's possibilities that can also color, but also, what's helpful in this moment as I move forward. And then of course we'll get what we get.
Well, I mean, if you take this analogy of the puzzle, it's like some greater source of creative source created the puzzle, right? And that creative source knows what the outcome is going to look like. And if we don't look at the box and we don't look at the picture, and we either do the outside frame first and work from the outside to the in, or we clump up things as symbolism that looks right. We do it by color or by shape or by, whatever. I mean, it's like so many different ways to pull the pieces all together and then connect all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's yeah, it's like we might not know, but someone out there does.
It's like what I like to think is that there's a part of myself that helped create the puzzle, and so part of myself that's out there on my team that's out there, and so there's something about me in the agreement to the outcome, even though in this smaller aspect of my energy, I don't know what that might look like. Nevertheless, I am already participating at a different level, that there might be information that's important for me to have, my team, myself, to myself, something like that too.
Well, and we're at the toy store, and we're in the puzzle section, and we see all of these different puzzles in front of us, and we decide before we bring it home, which of the puzzles do we want to participate in, which do we want to play in, before we write our contracts and before we take it home and live it, play with it, do it. It's like, yeah, I mean, we know the outcome. At some point we have seen the outcome in order for us to accept the trip.
Yeah. Sue?
Well, every time we share, I feel like it's more pieces of the puzzle. Every time I get a new awareness, it feels like another piece to the puzzle. And so to me, this puzzle is really big. And it changes. It's like a holographic puzzle, because as we grow in consciousness and awareness and wisdom and process it and put it into our meditations, we just keep growing and expanding, and that changes the puzzle. It may, I mean, I can't tell if what I came to do is still exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if life is better or worse than I had expected it to be at this point in time. Not a clue. But it feels like, anyway, we just get, every time we're together, I feel like we are just, we are each receiving more of the puzzle.
Yeah. And it is a changing puzzle. And so even if this is what we feel to do and do it, it might be like, that might be put on the shelf and it may be pulled out 2 years later. We thought we were finished. It might now be needed here. So it's like we always being open to that, the bigger picture in the changing. But I think I'm going to read a poem. It's going to be included in the tag course because I'm putting that together now. But this is I think a good one to kind of start with, and then we'll do the guided, and then we'll see what we're each, because the togetherness is we are together here and we're together in the future, and we are holding the anchoring here to bring the future here and us to the future. So okay,
Let's see what happens.
this is from the Cosmic Angel of Stones, channeled through Dorothy McLean, which most of you know her from Windhorn. Though you have contacted me through a tiny pebble, I am concerned with vastly more than your planet, for I am connected with a mineral life that exists in various stages through creation. Nature is full of paradox. You seek contact with what you consider a lowly form of life, and in fact, contact a universal presence. The human mind codifies and formulates, which is within its right and purpose. But you forget that all is one, that good is in all, and that even the most basic substance of life, which seems devoid of sensitive consciousness, is held in existence by its opposite, a vast consciousness extending beyond your imagination. It was the beauty of this particular stone that drew you to me. Consciousness of beauty brings you into oneness with any part of the universe. The more you appreciate beauty, the more you are linked universally. The glory of good is everywhere, stretching from the farthest reaches of the universe to the little grains of sand, one and the same thing, held in eternal love and timelessness with life. Reverence for all life. Emulate my presence or my patience. Unfold the mysteries of God, even of pebbles. Be a learner of life, a revealer. Let your domination be over yourself, and let your expanding consciousness see good in all things. And with that, we invite all elements within our Mother Earth's venue, the mineral kingdom, plant kingdoms, animal kingdoms, water creatures, the elements. There is so much vastness holding ideas, information, love, and support. And in our unique role in this physical bodysuit, may we be open to the intelligence that is most appropriate for us individually for this day. We feel that we stand on the precipice, on the edge of moving into something even grander and greater and more unknown always than we have experienced before. An unknown that also includes pieces of our individual puzzle that we need to pull back together again, our wholeness back together again. And we are so willing to do that. And we think that perhaps there is that future harmony, that future song, that future picture that might be a year or two our time out, maybe 3, that there may be a harmonic there that will assist us in walking the bridge from here to there more effectively with more greater stability and support. So trusting those who walk with us, we just allow ourselves, that physical self, to relax, the mental self to relax. We're in that place of trust where imagination is the power. And with our imagination energy, in whatever name we give it, we are going to move forward in time to the count of 3 to be in that place most rich with what will help us walk the bridge. So just relax into the unknown, relax into the trust not only of your team, but of your own internal self. You know, you will keep yourself in that harmonic that we call good mind or balance. So letting the doors open, seeing your team there waiting, everything shaking around you is to open the door, to crack open for more light. We move forward very safely, guardian circles around us to the count of 1. Breathing, moving, discerning as we go to the count of 2. Moving to that rich, loving place waiting for us to the count of 3. Just send yourself being and look around and notice what is happening around you in this future. Who is there with you? How are you feeling in this place? What are you feeling and what are you being called to be and do? How are you interacting in this place? And if there is anything that's in the way of that good, magnificent, generous, deep 6 yet to move it away, it will be handled. Just put it to the side until you are in that place of solid stability, clarity, gratitude, that freshness in embracing the unknown where there is reverence and awe. You are experiencing it. You are inspiring it. What is it? be there. When you're complete, ready to bring it back to anchor the bridge, do so, and we will visit you then. Okay, sounds like we're ready. Arlie, do you want to start?
So went traveling, and I went traveling into the future, and I saw a great body of water, one of the oceans, and there was a machine in the water, and it was scooping up and filtering out softball-sized balls. Now, a couple of days ago, I had learned that there are more microplastics in the ocean than there are zooplankton at this particular point. So I asked what these softballs are about, and I was told that what's happening is somebody has developed a seed, a thing, an item, a core that when put in the ocean, it attracts these microplastics to it and makes them easy to scoop up to harvest. And I had the feeling that there were people working on finding a use for recycling these microplastics. But it was kind of like recycling plastic bottles and making them useful. It was like, we're certainly hoping we can find something to do with this that will make it really valuable so that people will support this work. And then I saw black raindrops, large black raindrops, and they were coming from what would have been the north. And I'm really unclear on this one. I don't know if it's like raindrops filled with volcanic ash or ash from fires burning. And then it occurred to me, so I might be making this all up, that these were supposed to be seeds of inspiration from the north, which is the place of meditation, the womb, deep secrets, owls, seeing in the dark. So these would actually be drops of inspiration, let's put it that way. And that's where I went. That's what I saw. And I'll pass it on to Angelique.
Thank you. The first impression I got, the word which came to me was collective. And then circle, we were in a huge circle of women. And first I saw us together in a circle. And then there were many, many women more behind us, and more circles were forming. And it was an amazing, beautiful energy of women together. And then I saw that we were working, creating, putting the pieces together, the pieces of a huge puzzle. And this puzzle was called, it was in the future, the new Earth, the new planet Earth. And we are weaving the energies together in golden threads of light and color, rainbow colors. And then I see myself surrounded by animals and birds and angels. And again, I hear these sounds of earth, the sounds of silence, and the sound, a deafening sound of silence, and then the sound of the deep earth mother. And louder and louder, and I hear waterfall long, and then I find myself in a cage, and it's a huge cave. It's a cave. It's a huge cave where water is in the center, and these walls are high, and they rise up, and they are green, covered with green and flowers and all kind of plants, and many, many white flowers, like orchid like flowers, and they are all white. And they are yeah, coming up to the walls of this cave. And I can see that the cave is ending, and then I see the sky. There's no roof over the cave, there's the sky, only that. And then on this cave floor, it's a large circle of water, and it's surrounded by all these plants and birds and butterflies, and they're all white and blue, azure blue. The flowers are also on the floor, and they are a huge, deep color orange. And it's, yeah, it's filled with flowers and sounds and weaving. It's the energy of weaving energies together, and that's it. Thank you. I'm complete. And I go to Cinda.
What beautiful imagery. Wow, Angelique. So I was sort of, I also went into the future, and I was shown that we are truly, truly becoming more global citizens than we are of any national citizen, no matter where we're from. And that we need to embrace this globalism. We need to become global citizens. And that was the whole purpose of the pandemic, if you will, purpose in quotes, was to show the entire world that we all breathe the same air. And so that it was just so ironic that as the pandemic is spreading, there are leaders around the world that are building borders and walls and wars, creating war to create those borders and boundaries when they're really not going to make a bit of difference in a global community. And the pandemic was showing us. So the pandemic was like, that wall is not going to do anything. We're all breathing the same air. We're all equal. This disease does not discriminate. So, and then I was like, okay, so you sort of both sides, these two parallel universes of being shown that we need to embrace globalism and being a global citizen and seeing everybody across oceans and across borders and boundaries, that we are all equal and we're all in this together. And then the opposite being walls and hatred and discrimination. So then I was shown the vaccination, and here, just as the vaccination is created and the whole world is hopeful that things can go back to normal, which isn't where we want to go because normal isn't global. And so as this vaccination is happening and people are getting hopeful, the Asian hate crime happens and is there, and Asian people are being threatened because as if they created and it's their fault that this pandemic happened. And so I was sort of being shown that none of us have learned our lesson. The vaccination isn't going to matter. Because the purpose of the pandemic was to open our eyes and recognize how global we are. And instead, people are so desperate to go back to the way things were. And they're not willing to see the equality. And so I was like, well, okay, so you got that pendulum, you've got these two parallel universes happening at the same time. And so following Sharon's guidance, it was like, okay, well, where am I and what am I doing? And I, in order for my outer world to be different, I have to work on my inner world. So I have to look at my own boundaries and my own borders that aren't helpful, that make me separate then. I know that there's the healthy ones, but the ones that are built out of fear, to look at those and to get rid of them, to just get rid of them, and then to practice as often as I can, what would it mean to me to be a global citizen versus an American versus an Oregonian versus Alonsoy, my last name. You know, I mean, what does it really mean? How can I expect the world to change if I'm not ready to? So to work on myself first on what that would be like, because I mean, we take this concept of globalism, which also is another word for holism, and we take that down to just even our health, and how pharmaceutical companies just treat individual organs. They don't treat the whole body. As a matter of fact, if they treat one organ, they're killing another potentially. So just that focusing on wholeness is just so important. So in my own health, just to focus on this, the wholeness, me as a whole. Anyway, so that's sort of where I meandered. Globalism and holism. So Sue.
Thank you, Cinda. It feels like each time we meet, we're weaving together a new reality, a new consciousness. And what I saw is there's a tremendous power and energy in forgiveness. Healing is the acceptance of the unacceptable. And that's how I feel about where I am with forgiving. It is asking me to forgive the people I most hate, past and present. So over the last few days, I made the decision to forgive everyone from the past, named each one of them, and there's a prayer for that. And today, it's asking to forgive. It's a long list. To forgive all of those that I find I am intolerant of. They are the unacceptable. Their behavior is unacceptable. Their attitude is unacceptable. And so what I'm seeing is that this is the ultimate sacrifice, is to give up my personal feelings and perspective for the sake of the greater picture and the greater good. And when I put it that way, there's a willingness. All I have to do is make the decision, because being a human being, I don't have the ability to actually forgive anybody for anything. But if I can make a decision to forgive and to accept the unacceptable, then something greater than me takes over. And that's becomes the act of forgiveness. It's going to take a new consciousness for these extreme opposites to heal. And what's fascinating to me is I have my perspective, and this is absolutely unacceptable and wrong. And there are people over here who I like, who believe there is a behavior over here that is truly unacceptable to them. And in the middle is the fear, and it's the same fear. It's just this intense fear. And this is one perspective, and this is a different perspective, and they are a world apart. And for me to hate anybody adds to the consciousness of hate. There's nothing that's going to be healed or resolved or transformed. So if I truly want to claim my power, then I have to give up that which I hate. I have to give up judging. I have to be neutral. Because that's claiming a power that goes beyond the opposites. In fact, I'm going to go visit a cousin tomorrow who I suspect has a very different worldview of mine, and yet we both want the same thing. But how to get to it is totally different. And I have a niece, I'm sure, and a nephew, I am sure. We want the same thing, and how we think it can be achieved is totally different. So what Zoom has taught me, my family's Zoom meetings, is I can't judge them. I love them. I can't judge them. And if I can't judge them, then why am I judging all these other people? Well, because I hate them. They're not family. It's easy. It's easy to blame them. They're the enemy. Okay. To forgive is divine, a melding of the human will and the will of divinity, and the ultimate personal sacrifice, to give up being a victim, to give up blaming, to give up judging, to give up justifiable anger. But it is my true freedom to embrace my true power. And if I can do it, then it goes out for each one of us who can do it. It goes out in a ripple effect, and it goes out in a ripple, and that ripple goes out in consciousness, and it transforms. And we are weaving the new reality. We are literally weaving the new reality, whether you call it a puzzle or a tapestry, it doesn't matter. It's just whatever your visual is. So that's where I am. That's where I went. That's what I got. Sharon, back to you.
Indeed, pieces coming together in new ways for the puzzle, because we each speak what we get, you know. So I wanted to put a time on it. So I said, I'd like to go like 3 years out and seeing who's there, what's going on, I use that model to start with. And it's like, all of you were there, all the ones we know that and love, you were all there. And it was almost like, I could see us having this reunion, and we're laughing and saying, do you remember back then? Remember when we had that meeting? Remember when we had that question? Remember when it was so tough? And it's like, we did it. We created our heart and soul career. We've touched millions. We've shared our truths. Love and respect within our world and the world has expanded. Our families have been blessed as we've broken through and moved. And I said, what I want to see, kind of come in a little bit more into more finite, and it was like multiple, I don't know how to put, I could say forest, but it was like multiple business hives, multiple of them, all busy, all thriving, all interconnected, each in their own way, doing their important work. For me personally, it's important that there be tag facilitators doing the work of tag, and I saw multiple tag facilitators, either that is their specialty or adding it to their work. So that felt really good. And they said, you are working to bring forth change agents like the world has never known, because we're weaving the galactic, because we're doing the corrections, because we're changing DNA, that we are change agents like the world has never known. And then they said, that's it. Those are all the 1,200, 1,500 piece puzzle people. Those are the ones that the 500 piece puzzle, this is their kind of a rest time. And it's like, they'll be involved, but it's the ones who are those change agents have done what it took to get there. So, and so they just, it was like, okay, that's good. I didn't say, what do I need to do? What do I know, I just felt like, okay, I'm just going to claim it and anchor it. And one of the things I wanted to read about the North is the element of ice, the dark fae. This is from the Celtic tradition. The element of ice, the dark fae, the creators and smiths of wonderful things. And to those who seek in the dark, they find magical tools. There's a place of wisdom, the void of all beginning, of secrets revealed and of knowledge gained, of the beginning and the end, and all places in between. So I'm going to go with your interpretation of those dark raindrops, Angelique.
No, that was Arlie.
Oh,
Arlie, dark
yeah.
raindrop. Yeah.
Raindrops. Yeah, I'll go with that one. Yeah.
May I adjust something?
Yes.
Because it's still in my mind, it's still lingering there from my journey. It's not, because also Arlie said from the north, I was in the center, and from all four directions there came white ravens.
Wow.
And they flew into the center of the circle.
Wow.
And this was in the center of the water as well. So there was it seemed like a huge medicine wheel of water, but it's like totally different from everything we know. It looked so different.
Mm.
But these ravens were very important.
Four
Yeah.
white.
Sorry?
4 white raven.
Four white ravens from every direction. Yeah.
I think we're taking away some things to be with us too,
Yeah, and what you say, weaving, it was all in my mind all the time, weaving together, all these women. Yeah, weaving in circles. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. And I see all those things from the other journeys coming together. It's like, wow. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelique. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for this circle holding. Is there anything else that we want to say while we're still in circle before we close?
I get the feeling that all of us that are working on the same thing of changing consciousness is we have been picking up momentum and more momentum. And we either are at the tipping point or we're close to the tipping point where we should start perceiving there really truly is more light in the world than the darkness. I can't see that myself, but I'm getting the feeling that there is more light than darkness. I just want to see it. I'm a visual person. I want to see it.
How about claiming it? I am now seeing it. And so that they can show you where it's popping up.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. I am now claiming that I can see it. I do see it. I am seeing it.
Sue, you are it. Just look in the mirror, sister. Just look in the mirror and you'll see the light.
I see the light in all of us.
Mhm.
It's with us for sure. Yeah. Also, I wanted to just bring in, that the magnetizing of the plastics in the ocean. That's really that's really heartening. And then maybe we can have them dissolved, and that doesn't have to even be reformed. But it reminds me of in the elementals in the mineral kingdom that we already have that in the form of zeolite. It already is that as a magnet for heavy metals anywhere, including within the body. So I bet there's other places that could be called forth. And I remember I had a friend who was a research director at the Boise State University, and he was saying that they had found I think a microbe of some type, bacteria of some kind, that was eating up, and I don't even remember what it was because this is a long time ago. It was eating up those things that we thought would be indestructible and dangerous. But maybe we ought to call forth more of those that they are fed by it, that it is good for them, and then and then their excrement is compost for the planet. So I'm calling them forth because they exist.
Well, and I don't think that that's too far from reality to almost visualize it. Because if you think about it, the majority of everything that's been created, even when it's poison, came from Earth. I mean, it came from somewhere that already existed it, meaning that something already knows how to consume it or break it down. And so even if we took a little bit of this and some of that and some of that, and we created this pollution, by that, there's something that knows how to break down this and something that knows how to work with that and something that knows how to work with that you combine them, that those all work together.
Alchemy.
Alchemy. I mean, it all, I mean, it all came from Earth. So ultimately,
I know that in the early 2000s, a friend of mine, Ren, whom some of you have met, and we were called to work on microbes that were being weaponized to create disease for use in wartime. And it was being tested on various populations. And they asked us if the microbes ask if we would take away the coding, the weaponization. It's a similar thing to what happens to us as human beings when we are mind controlled by outsiders. When you take away the mind control, now we're back to our state of wellness. And that's what it reminds me of, Cinda, that whatever's needed to come together to eliminate what has changed, help the contributors on the planet to be weaponized or harmful. I think that's a good one. I'm gonna do that one.
Yeah, good point. Well, and there's something to Ren. When was the last time you talked about her? Because I was just thinking about her yesterday or the day before, of all people, and now you're talking about her. So she's coming she's bubbling to the surface again. I think it's time to engage her and bring her in.
I've talked to her just within the last couple of weeks. So we'll see. We'll see where she's at.
I want to bring in a cautionary tale while we're talking about microbes that can eat plastic and microbes that can eat pollution and all that. When we call in these sorts of things, please remember the conundrum of the universal solvent, which is that which can dissolve anything, including the container it's in, which sets it free to dissolve the entire world.
Mm.
So when you're busy calling in things that eat what is pollution, remember that in other cases, that pollution is not pollution. It's
Containers.
yeah, containers, something that's useful, something that's needed, a piece of medical equipment, who knows? So
Maybe,
be discriminating.
Discerning, yeah.
we can, but ought we? And maybe it had maybe one of the criteria that it is in alignment to that greater plan of outcome of good for all, removal of outsiders or something, having
Yeah.
to judge it against rather than just willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Yes. Be thoughtful.
Good point. And for me, I that wouldn't even be enough because I just don't know enough to be that thoughtful. So for me, I would definitely say, is there something in the bigger plan to help restore Earth? I would check that out so that I would have the okay, then get it in place. So I would have something to check it against, because thoughtful wouldn't work for me. I just don't know enough.
Mhm.
Well, maybe when we are crystal broadcasting, we need to be broadcasting permission for nature to do what nature does best. And nature can transform anything. So because of the programs put on nature to be destructive, we need to maybe claim our sovereignty by saying that we are, well, I don't know what the word is, but alchemizing the program that interferes with the perfection of nature.
Or calling in Gaia.
Yeah.
And affirming that she's, because we have in the past absolutely had to bring her in because she hadn't been included, because we were supposed to be the watchdogs and we weren't. So bringing in her as part of that, and it's her. It's like we have to do that for our bodies. Maybe it's her job to do it for her bodies, and I don't know if I don't know if she needs that authority from us because we gave her that. But yeah, that's another conversation.
Well, yeah, and it isn't even, she does have authority, but if there's programs interfering, then we're saying unacceptable. Programs that interfere with the natural flow of nature, and Gaia is created absolutely perfect to protect and provide for all life and to balance things out. So all she has to do is be returned to her original state. And our job then as guardians of the planet is to say all programs that interfere are no longer acceptable. We withdraw all consent and dissolve. We dissolve it if we can.
She doesn't have a physical voice. Maybe maybe that's all that's needed is our declaration.
It's a good place to start because I don't want to interfere. Right. And I can't see the bigger picture. We can only kind of feel it and get glimpses of it. So it's just yeah, I think so. Just claiming that we of the guardians are claiming that Gaia has the power, not the programs that interfere.
Well, I think that also I've learned in my own practice that I'm learning more and more that it's less and less and less me that's doing the healing as much as it is empowering someone to do it for themselves. And that there is huge, huge power in having someone bear witness to the process.
Yeah.
So to be that witness, so Gaia knows that we are witnessing her healing, that there are those that can hold the vision of the future of what is possible for her, and then give that energy versus doing the healing or doing the removing, letting her do it for herself so she ends up with the outcome that best suits her, but we support it and give her the energy to do it and bear witness to it, because there is so much power in the witnessing, and the witnessing anchors it into reality, makes it so, in my experience.
Vicarious experience. Hers is direct experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Yes, much better words.
Good for you. Good going. Okay.
Right.
Are we,
Direction for crystal broadcasting. I think that's the direction we need to be in for crystal broadcasting.
more working under her direction and the elements of
All kingdoms, all elements, and claiming that these programs, these negative, hurtful programs, are just not acceptable, and we need to clear them out so Gaia can return. She could be waiting for us to say free will. By our free will, keep calling her in and saying, we know you have the power to heal yourself. Just be gentle with us, please. But it's time for her to break away from the limitations, the interference. It's okay for her to claim her power.
And I think that there's something really important, as above, so below, and we're the above in a way, is to recognize, what is in the one is in the whole. So to also, whatever it is that we are doing for ourselves. So as you're working on forgiveness, Sue, and as you're tapping into that, is to also then send your healing into Gaia, to just give her a little bit of boost as we heal ourselves, knowing that we are impacting those who are a part of that healing, and then just those who are a part of our lives. As we heal, everyone's impacted by it, that pebble in the pond, but to also with intention take the healing we've done for ourselves and share it with Gaia. If you're capable of forgiving all these monsters in your life, and then you share that forgiveness with her, I imagine that would be a huge boost of something that could even travel in the grid underground to others who need to be doing the same thing you are, which can only help her in the long run.
Angelique.
You're muted. Angelique, you're muted. Start over.
Thank you. For me, Gaia is us and we are Gaia. We are part of her. And I mean, if we ask for permission for her, we have to ask permission for ourselves. And that's how I feel it, really. We are part of her and we are all one. And healing for her is also healing for us, as I feel it really deep down. So we are healing ourselves, we are healing her as well. And vice versa. When she is healing, we are healing. So that's what I feel in myself, in my bones, in my whole structure. Part of her. Her mountains is my, my water is her water. My mountains are her mount. I'm so into her body. And when I'm rooting into her, I'm rooted into myself, and I'm connected with the whole, with you, with everyone, with the whole brothers and sisters from all four directions. And we are all rooted into her as one.
Very good.
Yeah.
I think we'll understand more by next Monday. We're struggling for words to express what we want and kind of know. And so I think by next Monday, we're going to have a better idea of how we are going to work with Gaia. And that's exciting.
A new level of working with her, really.
Yeah, I think so. I think we opened the door today to a new level.
Angelique might be already there welcoming us in.
Yeah.
Yeah, with her 4 directions. And her
We
white
are.
rose.
We really are. We only have to be her vessel, the vessel to, yeah, incorporate the energies, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. We have our own unique polished places, and the more we share those, the more then we all have those same polished places, polished in our own way. So that's called collaboration and bringing the colored tribe together again.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be so great.
Okay. Until we meet again, good luck with your water, Arlie. Good luck with your work, Angelique. Holding you in good stead. The rest of us are
Thank you.
together and listening. Love you guys.
Love you
Love-
guys. Blessings, everybody.
Let's